Just say the word, just say the word, I'll be made whole.
Last year I verbalized to you guys about that finding your divine fingerprint, your 1% factor. For those of you that weren't here, there's a book by a pastor named Keith Craft, and it's called Your Divine Fingerprint, Finding Your 1%. And what that means is when God created you, He made you very unique by 1%. Everyone's fingerprint is different. So what He encourages you to do is find out what's special about you, what's unique about you. Just what's your 1% factor? And so last year, I've always thought about, I think about a lot of things and how I'm going to be better or what I'm going to do, but I don't follow through. I'm very all over the place, and that's why I had to write everything down, because I ramble and so on. But last year I decided that I was going to do something about it, and I was going to actually change. I mean, I'm a good person. I'm sweet and blah, blah. But my follow-through is awful. My commitment, I make a lot of commitment to my kids, or I'll promise things like, I'm going to spank you, and I don't. Or, oh, wait, we can go do something. I've changed. I don't make those promises anymore. I'm actually doing the things I mention or say, or I don't say it at all, because it hurts people's feelings. But in that book, I think that's what kind of made me think about what makes me unique. And like I told you guys last year, it's my empathy, sympathy, and just my kind nature. But I wasn't sharing myself. I was very news, sports, weather with everybody. Oh, yeah, it's nice. I'm happy. Great. I'm awesome. Yes, happy, love. Yay, yay. And I decided last year I was going to share. And Wendy made Chris sign up for when I had my surgery, and very, very much against it, because we don't need anybody. We can do everything on our own. But it's not about doing everything on your own and being on your own. It's about the love that each of us share and the sincerity of it. And I think we build this wall, and my wall has been very tall, and I've been breaking it down this year. It's about right here, right now. So I'm peeking over at you, and I'm getting better. But again, last year I challenged everyone to find their 1% factor, what makes you special. But did you guys do that? Have any of you really sat and thought about what makes you special? Okay, if you did that, now what are you doing with it? So what I've challenged myself is, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but many of you, I'm trying to build a relationship. I've learned about Mary. I mean, she's pregnant. I know. So, I mean, really, I'm trying to share of myself. I thought that people would think either pity. Chris and I talked about this last night. I've read this many times to him. And he was like, why do you worry about pity? Well, those are my words. I don't want people to know how I grew up, or that we were in poverty, or my mom passed away because of her drug habits, and people will feel sorry for me, or, wow, look how you turned out. It was a choice. We all have choices on who and how and what we want to be. But are we making those choices and moving forward with them? So as we start this year out, and I am really not doing anything that I had in this, I'm doing a Chris number. And he's right here helping me, thank you. I challenge you to look at yourself. When you're talking to someone here in church, this is the easiest place to start, because really this is the safest place. A lot of, and please forgive me, Lord, a lot of churches are very, there's a lot of hypocrisy. How much money do you have? Who do you hang out with? Keeping up with the Joneses. This church is not that way. And it has allowed me to become me and to find me. I'm 46 years old, and I'm finding myself, and I kind of like it. I love getting to know everyone. Everyone's story is so special. Just listen to someone, but then share your story, because people do care. I mean, we talk about grace. Terry's always talking about grace and God's grace. And are we giving grace to ourselves? Are we allowing others the grace to understand us, to know us, to share of ourselves? And that is what God gave. The most beautiful, pure, simple thing was His grace. I had a guy at work yesterday. It was just out of the blue. He had to wait a little bit. He was going to buy contacts. And he asked me, did I know my Lord and Savior? And I said, oh, yes. If I ask you today, Trina, are you going to heaven? I said, absolutely. And he said, tell me why. And I said, because of God's grace. He goes, oh my gosh, you know. And I thought, oh, I passed the test. I'm 46 and I know. It was amazing. I think he was shocked. He said, it took me from 20 to 43 to learn that. And I said, well, my preacher talks about that all the time. And this is God's grace. He shed His blood. He gave His Son so that we could have grace and forgiveness. Forgive yourself for whatever you think is hurting or whatever you think someone else might be judging you for. The only one that needs to judge us is God. And don't judge. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge others. Love. And I have loved this year like no other. I even love Him now. No, I've always loved Him, but I'm liking Him now. But you just find grace. Let's share that grace with God.